Good mood today. It's sunny. It's time to love New York. And it's time to drink some freaking coffee. Still not ready yet. Whew. I slept quite long, which means I had a long break. And yeah, loads of emails going on.
Funny place where I'm just not scared.
Loads of shit going on.
I'm just not worried about.
But I'm gonna be watching Gary V's Daily V first. Get a bit of inspiration of what he's up to, and then filling in on the stuff going on here in MPD land.
I have empathy for that. That's.
Yeah, here we go. It's finally made. What do you do first? Switch up. The thing is, it's freezing outside. I put on the heating, but for some reason, this room here, which I'm in right now, is freezing. It's the coldest one in the freaking house. Right. Guys, this is the video you've been waiting for. It's the Intermittent Fasting 101. Everything you need to know about intermittent fasting. So stay tuned. So, first question you're probably asking yourself is, what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting basically just cycles between periods of eating and not eating. Very simple. It's what I always say, it's a meal timing protocol. It's not a diet. And that's very, very important because it just tells you when to eat, not what to eat. So that's, in a nutshell, intermittent fasting. Now we're going to have a look at, how do you actually do intermittent fasting? Because that's probably the next question after you know now what it is. So let's discuss that. So one book I want to recommend is called The Fast Diet. The reason why is because it's a journalist who went out there, and that was when fasting came sort of, had its spike a couple of years ago. He and his wife went out and tried it out, and they were researching everything because they're journalists. They're not sort of biased in terms of the 5-2 diet is the best way forward. It's just something they stuck to, and they said, this is what we're going to be focusing on in our book. But they're also talking about the other, like Eat, Stop, Eat, or the 16-8 or whatever, so which we'll be talking after this, so you understand what I'm talking about. But the reason why I'm saying read this book if you want to know about fasting is because he did really thorough research and cites it in his book and talks about where you can find stuff and so on. So it's an actually really good read. It's quite long. It's also I think it's a New York Times bestseller, so it is worth reading, and it tells you loads of stuff in terms of from the background where it starts and so on and so forth. Now, one little thing I wanted to mention here, because I think that's quite interesting to know, when it comes to fasting, it's not a new concept. So for example, he points out in his book, in terms of research, a lot of religions do or tell people to fast. Like Islam does the Ramadan, right? That's what it's called. Then, the Greek Orthodox Christians are encouraged to fast for 180 days a year, according to this guy. And Buddhist monks fast on new moon and full moon each lunar year for a month. So you can see that is down to religion, where they say you should be fasting, and lots of people are obviously believing in stuff like that. So therefore, you'll have a lot of people actually fast during these times, and then they benefit from the benefits of fasting. Now, also what happens is that before we went into the modern age of what we're doing now, right? So when, like, our ancestors, we always talk about the paleo diet, right? At that time, sometimes food wasn't available. So even if people were doing paleo, like, you know, nuts and seeds and then a bit of meat here and so on and so forth, it wasn't like available. There wasn't like a fridge they opened and said, oh, I'm eating now my meat. So they had fasting times during the day, or, you know, maybe a couple of days, because they didn't find any nuts and they didn't find anything to eat. So therefore, this is a concept which is very, very common. Just in our sense now, where we live today as a modern human, it's very, very alien, to be fair, of what does it mean to fast. Because another concept which we need to realize is that when you're fasting, you're very aware of hunger. And I know a lot of people wake up in the morning and say, Mark, I'm starving, I'm gonna die. No, you're not, right? It takes, I think, you can live off food 7 days or 8 or 10 days without food, but only 2 days or like 1 day, 2 days without water. So water is much more important than food. Just bear that in mind. That's why the fasting protocols all allow you to drink beverages, like 0-calorie beverages, like water, coffee, tea, all that stuff, non-sweetened, no sugar, no milk, no nothing inside, just the plain water. You can drink as much as you want and you won't break your fast, so to speak. I think these are just a couple of things I want to point out first. And now let's talk about how to actually do fasting. Now, the most common protocol out there is the 16-8 method, which has been popularized by Martin Berkham from the Lean Gains protocol. You know that guy, and you probably know Kino Body, right? I think it's Greg. They're very similar in their approach, and they just talk about intermittent fasting. Now, 16-8, what does that actually mean? That is just, it describes the time you fast and you eat. So you have got a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour eating window. How would that work? You would make sure that you fast during the time you sleep. You'd sometimes skip breakfast, and then you have your 8-hour eating window. So for example, you would, you stop eating at, let's say, 8 hours, like 8 at night, and then the next day at 12 noon, you would start eating again. So you've got so when you wake up, you skip breakfast, and at 12 o'clock, you can start eating until 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, you stop eating, and then you go to bed. So you've got your the 16-hour fast happens more or less when you're sleeping. So that's the idea. And the way I think Greg popularizes it is saying, just skip breakfast, drink a coffee, and then you have your meal. Which is great, it works for me as well. I do it similar to what these guys are talking about, and I think it's a very, very good protocol. You can now tighten this up. You can now do, for example, a 24 protocol. I mean, some people are crazy, they do a 23-1, which means they fast 23 hours. In the 1 hour, they eat their meal. Now, when it comes to how you should eat, first of all, as it is a meal timing protocol, it doesn't tell you what to eat. It means once you have your calorie allowance per day, if it is a deficit or a surplus, whatever it is, if you want to gain or lose weight, the amount of calories you have in a day, you eat in your actual eating window. So in these 8 hours, you would eat all your calories for the day. And that could be in 1 meal, it could be in 20 meals during these 8 hours. That's the only thing you really have to pay attention to. As we know, it's about the caloric deficit, and then you will lose weight if you eat less. You know the drift, the gist, the fucking gist, right? Simple as that. Then you've got another one, it's called Eat Stop Eat. Eat Stop Eat just means that there's a whole day you do not eat at all, like a 24-hour fast, like once or twice a week. So, you choose to say, okay, on a Wednesday and on a Friday, I don't eat at all. So just pick your time, and then you just, for 24 hours, you don't eat at all. That works as well. And the other one, which is very, very popular, which I just showed you the book about, is the 5-2 diet. It just means you have 5 days where you eat normally, your normal calorie allowance, maybe in a deficit if you want, let's say 1800 calories. And then on 2 days, most people do Saturday, Sunday, they do like a 500 to 600 calorie allowance. So meaning on those days you drop your calories from 1800 to 500 on these 2 days, like a little meal, like a little snack, and that's all you eat. And I think they don't even tell you when to eat. You can eat it during the whole day, but because you're on this very, very low calorie deficit, that's how it works. But I would assume, no, I think you actually have to eat it in an eating window as well in the 5-2 diet. Yeah, that's really, really simple. And all of them have benefits. And we're going to be talking about the benefits now in a second. And they're really, really interesting, so stay tuned. So let's talk about how it affects your hormones and your cells. And this is really, really interesting. So the first one is human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is very, very important for most people to build muscle. You need the growth hormone. That's also what some people put into their little juice. I'm not going to say the word, otherwise they block the video. But to do fasting, if you do it in any of these protocols we just discussed, it increases growth hormone to 5-fold. 5 times more growth hormone will be available in your body, meaning, you know, you have benefits of losing weight and gaining muscle, because, you know, the more growth hormone you have available in your body, the easier it's going to build muscle, and the more it's utilizing your fat. So that's a very, very good one to know. The other hormone I want to talk about is insulin. And insulin, as you know, is the hormone which normally stores fat, right? So as soon as insulin goes into your bloodstream, it takes the fat and puts it into the fat cell. Now, with fasting, the good thing is your insulin sensitivity improves and the levels of insulin drops. Therefore, more fat is available for you to burn. Really simple as that, and that is a good thing, because if you want to burn fat, you want to make sure you've got more accessible. Whereas if you eat all the time and you spike insulin, as soon as insulin is in your body, you have a harder time burning fat. Now, the other thing intermittent fasting does is it increases cellular repair, the innate cellular repair process. It just means that your proteins, the old proteins in cells and so on, they just get digested and pumped out as waste out of your body. The good thing is, you know, you want to make sure that your cell rejuvenates itself over and over again. Whereas if you don't fast, that process slows down, and, you know, it's related to aging. Simple as that. Another topic which is very, very much researched in terms of fasting is your gene expression. And why is that important? Because it's related to longevity. So they did this experiment on mice, but I'm not sure how much it increased, if it's 50 or 100% more, but the mouse lived fucking longer. And I think they calculated to a human being, and it was like you would be living like 120 years if you would do intermittent fasting, just because food and digestion and, you know, the let's say the toxins and stuff we eat, they make our body age. And what you don't want at the end of the day is age. You know, not that you look wrinkly and like shit. That's not the thing. It's aging process of everything, like your heart muscle, your digestion, and all of that stuff, your teeth. They all have to be healthy to be able to live longer. And so if you do the fasting protocol, it claims that all these processes will last longer, therefore you will live longer. Simple as that. Now, why does it claim to lose more weight, or why are you losing more weight with intermittent fasting? It's very simple. Because of the lowering of your insulin and the increase of your growth hormone, another hormone spikes or gets released during fasting, and that's norepinephrine and noradrenaline. And these are both fat burning hormones, and it's great to get your body into that environment where these hormones are more prone to be coming up. And these short-term changes in studies show that you can increase your metabolic rate, which, you know, at the end of the day, your metabolic rate, the higher it is, the more fat and the more calories you burn throughout the day, increases between 3.6 to even 14% just by doing fasting. And that's a really, really good thing. It's like thinking of your car when you switch it on and the motor runs. And if that motor would run just a little bit faster, like 15% faster on the spot, not driving, just the motor rearing up a little bit more, it needs more petrol. Simple as that. That's how the metabolic rate translates with our body. So when we put ourselves through a fasting protocol, we rev our engine a bit higher, just naturally, that's how it is, and therefore we burn more fat. You know, at the end of the day, that's the whole common idea behind HIIT training as well. It's not about the actual exercise you do in the gym, it's like the afterburn effect. You burn most of your calories while you're sitting down, you know, after you've done your actual workout, because it's the repair process that actually burns the calories. So therefore, having an increased metabolic rate is very, very beneficial. So now comes the actual health benefits of intermittent fasting, and this is really, really interesting, so make sure you pay attention. So the first one is weight loss. We talked about it, and you know why, because of all the hormone changes in the body. It just makes fat more available to be used as energy during the fasting times, and that's why you lose weight more easily. And also, I mean, one common thing is that once you're on this eating window protocol, intermittent fasting sort of protocol, you will pay more attention to what you're eating, and that is always a good thing, because it is the mindless eating. Eating is a habit, and habits we don't pay attention, we do, you know, without thinking. So therefore, as you start thinking about your food, you're paying more attention to what you eat, and most of the time you eat less. That's why you're also losing weight, and that's why people think intermittent fasting is a diet, but it's not. It's just a mealtime protocol. Now we talked about the insulin resistance, and intermittent fasting can reduce the amount of insulin pumped out into your body. Therefore, it lowers your blood sugar up to 3 to 6%, which is great. And it also claims to reduce fasting insulin levels by 20 to 31%. And this is the good thing about it. It protects you against type 2 diabetes. And also some people say, some doctors have, I'm not a doctor, so this is not advice, but doctors have said if you have diabetes 2, which is the one which you get by unhealthy sort of diet and lifestyle, if you revert that lifestyle and you actually do fasting, you can cure or, you know, reverse the effects odds of diabetes in terms of type 2 diabetes, which is absolutely stunning. And I think that's pretty amazing. And I've seen that actually in a couple of studies. I read that as well. The other thing is, another thing, a very big thing of aging is inflammation. So it shows in a lot of studies that the actual intermittent fasting protocols reduce inflammation in your body. Therefore, you've got more energy for healing your body, and that's a good thing. Heart health reduces the amount of LDL cholesterol. LDL is low density lipoprotein cholesterol, and you have to think about it like that way. So what's the difference between LDL and HDL? Just think of two carriers, two little wagons, yeah? And LDL, the bad one, is full, and HDL is empty, more or less. Yeah? So while they travel through your blood, they're able to collect cholesterol and all the stuff which clogs up your arteries and stuff, and that's why you get heart attacks. So the higher your HDL amount is in your body and in your blood is able to collect all the cholesterol and therefore reduce the clogging, right? And the higher the LDL is, the more clog you will have, the higher the risk of, heart disease and other diseases. Most diseases, at the end of the day, they live off you being in a state of an unhealthy body. So if your immune system is down, if you can't fight infection, then cancer is prone to happen. Not only cancer, like, with the heart disease, all these diseases, they come up because your body isn't able to fight it. So if you put yourself into the state of prevention, meaning you eat healthy, you do the fasting, so you put yourself into a better position of being able to fight or not even get these diseases, which is great. So no smoking, no alcohol, no nothing, no none of this shit, and you're gonna be healthy. Anti-aging, here we have it. I've got the actual stat. For the rat that lives as much as 36 to 83% longer. So they nearly doubled their lifespan, which is fucking amazing if you think about it. So it has an anti-aging sort of effect, which is great. I just love that. Okay, next one is for women. I get this question a lot and say, well, if I'm a woman, why, should I be doing intermittent fasting? Now there's a couple of reasons why I said as a woman, you need to make sure to pay a bit more attention, because as a man, it's fucking easy. Our hormones are always the same. More or less. We get out of bed, we feel like Hulk, go into the gym and lift as much as we want. Yeah, as a woman, it's not like that. You run through a cycle throughout the month, and the monthly cycle is also, I think it depends. For some, it's I think 25 to 35 days. That's how it ranges for women. So it's not always, the normal cycle of, ovulation and stuff. So what women are fighting with is water retention, is, increased hunger during certain periods, increased metabolic rates during your cycle, and so on and so forth. And that all has its purpose, and also holding on to fat in certain areas, because the idea is that you'll be able to give birth, right? Now, when it comes to fasting, these studies which have been done have been also not done on women. They are sort of based on feedback of women, and also, based on rat studies again. But what it basically says that if it is, for a man, it increases the insulin sensitivity, but for women, for example, it worsens blood sugar control. So, that's one little thing. But the other main thing is that some women might lose their period, or the menstrual period stopped while being on the fast. And that's not a good thing. You should be making sure that your cycle stays the same. And that's why when I talk to women about intermittent fasting, is take it easy. Try it out and see how it goes. Maybe the fasting window, don't punch it down to like a 24. You should at least do a 16-8. Or even a 14-10, for example. Right? Your fasting window should be a bit smaller, because the hormone changes in your body are just very, very important. And the other thing is that when you are trying to conceive, when you're trying to have a baby, then please do not do intermittent fasting, because that will mess up your hormones and so on and so forth. So in terms of when you have problems with fertility, so when you're suffering on, having a baby, then intermittent fasting also is one thing you should not do at all. Okay, so if this rings a bell with you, if you're a female watcher, then you might know now why. But again, I'm not a doctor. Make sure you go to your doctor, figure out what is going on in your body. You can do hormone tests and so on and so forth, and then ask them, do you think intermittent fasting is a good thing or not? Generally speaking, for some women, it has been working amazing. They've transformed their bodies, but it could also be because of the diet changes they made. It's always not one thing they're doing. It's the whole thing. Meaning they might be sleeping better, they might be eating more healthy, they might be exercising better, or they have a better exercise protocol. So this is the thing. People do something and I say, you know what? It's fucking intermittent fasting. That's why it's working. Not really. When people come to me as a personal trainer, we change a lot of things. We have a look at the holistic thing, your whole life in one. And then we actually make changes basically everywhere. We look at your sleep, your food, your eat, your rest, your everything. And then all of that plays together to make the whole outcome become the outcome, right? Simple as that. Right, so last thing I want to talk about is like the side effects, the known side effects and safety when it comes to intermittent fasting. Make sure you pay attention because this is important. So if you have diabetes, or if you've got problems with blood sugar regulation, if you've got low blood pressure, take medication, are underweight, have a history of eating disorder, if you're a female and you're trying to conceive, if you're breastfeeding, or if you have a history of having problems having your menstrual cycle, these are all indications of not doing intermittent fasting, or better than that, going to a doctor and figuring out if it is okay or not. Medical condition, that's what these things are. You know, make sure that when you have one of these, that's like a red flag. Make sure you check that out first. There you have it. That's Intermittent Fasting 101, everything you need to know. I hope this helped you guys. If you like this kind of video and this kind of information, punch the like button, leave a comment in the comment box below if I missed anything. And now, back to work. Actually, a new coffee. Oi. Monster into the house. My normal sort of lunch. I'll just talk you through it as always. So 125 grams or 150 grams of chicken breast. It's a 5-egg omelette, 2 full eggs, 3 egg whites, medium egg size, 2 slices of cheese, and some gluten-free bread. That's really what I'm gonna have now because it's 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock my first client, so I need to hurry up a little bit, eat this shit. And yeah, I'm drinking Monster, and I know a couple of you guys have said, yeah Mark, why are you drinking Monster, isn't it bad for you, and so on and so forth. Guys, sure, it's not the best drink to have, especially because it has aspartame and all that shit inside. But as I told you guys, I've got a photo shoot coming up in 3 weeks time, so I need to make sure that I drop some weight. This is something I wouldn't recommend, you know. It's not like just because you're following me now do the same thing, don't do this. It's what most people do. I didn't, you know, when these things come up in business, you only have so much time you can really think about it. You know, the client says that's the time I want it, and then you have to go for it. I could cry around now and say, oh my god, yeah, but it's not in you know, it's not safe to lose that weight in that much time. Who gives a shit right now? I mean, this is how it is in the industry. Sometimes you need to shed some weight quicker, but at the end of the day, it's all still in a healthy range. If I'm not like I'm gonna be super shredded, that's not the point. I just want to be sort of toned because I was going up a little bit in weight because I wanted to bulk a little bit. So these are the things. This is the business. This is how things change. But the photo shoot is a really good opportunity for me. But anyway, just trust me, guys. Trust me on this one. I just have to get ready for this shoot. Wow, what's up, guys? It's now 5 o'clock, and have a look. It's dark already on the streets. It's crazy. Even though we had the time going back, it's still dark. But yeah, I think the camera sort of adjusts to light. So I don't know if you can see it, but you know, it's dark. Anyway, I'm on the way to my office because I need to pick up some post which arrived, and then I'm gonna have a chat with the guy I told you about yesterday, but I'm not sure if I want to keep him on board or not. I just need to make clear what's going on because he's costing me a lot of money, and I am not so happy with the return on investment yet. But we're not at the stage where, oh, weren't we talking about Ferraris yesterday? This is my new car. Yeah, one day soon we'll drive these cars. But it's not about cars, it's about firing staff. No, honestly, you know, if you have someone who isn't performing in the company, you have to have a chat with them. So I'm gonna have a call within the next 10 minutes, but I first need to pick up some stuff from the office, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, back in Costa, found a place where I can sit down, collected some post from the office, and now I have a call with our new employee. Are you? Yeah, I'm good, that would be great. Sure. Yeah, so I'm in Tos right now, and I ordered a salad and a side, which I'll show you in a sec. But I wanted to, you know, I always want to be upfront with you guys. And, you know, I make some affiliate money. So when you guys click on the links below in my videos, like for example the Amazon ones, like for example the headphones, when I say check them out, and someone buys them, I get a commission off that. And then I didn't know, I just picked up this check. I was like, holy shit, what's going on? I never expected this. So I've got this in America as well. So, you know, I've got it in the UK and in America. And in the UK I made something like 40 bucks or something, like not much, you know, it's not like I'm earning millions with it. But in the US, have a look at this, guys, it's like amazing. you see this? $247. This is pretty insane. I mean, the reason why I think this is happening is because of my 1,000 rep challenge, because that's quite popular at the moment, and you know, a lot of people are watching it, and then probably they're clicking all over the place. So this is very, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. It pays for some of my stuff here, so I'm really excited about that. So keep clicking on these links, guys. That's how you can, you know, support me here with these channels and so on and so forth, because, you know, I'm paying the cutter, I'm paying the PR lady, I'm paying labels of people, obviously, because they're working for me. So the money needs to come in somewhere, right? Just to give you sort of an idea of what's going on. Yeah, now waiting for my salad. Oh, and this is, you know, I'm going to this event called Britain's biggest ever business event. It's free, you can go there, and you know, there's loads of speakers and stuff going on. So I just received my tickets. It just says Marc Dressen Personal Trainer. So I'm gonna go there on the 17th, 18th of November. I'm gonna take you guys with me. Just gonna go through the program now and see what's going on. So here you go. Chicken pot. So this is basically just chicken. Salad I created myself. Has like artichokes and stuff inside. Yeah, very nice. Chicken. And later on I'm gonna meet a friend and actually gonna have dinner, so this is just a snack on the side. Yes, it arrived! I got finally the letter from Google, which confirms my address. So I'm going to be putting that into Google Places, and then I'm going to have 2 places in Google. My headquarters and the actual gym where I train. So really looking forward to putting that in now. Yeah, and then I'm actually going to hit this thing called bed and go to sleep, because I did a lot of work today, got a lot of stuff done. I'm really happy with that, and I hope you guys liked this video today, because I gave you a bit of, you know, insights into intermittent fasting. Let me know if you know, you have any further questions, or you want to know anything else, any other sort of series I should be doing. Leave a comment in the comment box below. Punch the like button, punch the subscribe button. See you guys tomorrow. So if I recommend the stuff, if I say, you know what, buy fucking creatine because it helps you build muscle, then you can bet your ass on that I take exactly that product. I mean, why is it standing here on my table? You know, all these supplements here, these are the supplements I personally take.